How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Check this out, my royal family. You need to go get your shit. Yes. Go get your shit. Got my shit? Oh, yeah. Today's lemonade. It's going to be real juicy like my royal family. All of it's going to be juicy. I'm just going to put it all in one today. It's going to be a long video, but let me get my drink on. Go get your weed, whatever your shit is, your popcorn, your drink, whatever it is, because it's going to be real juicy like. Trump. Excuse me, my royal family. Trump. Wait a minute, Trump. Damn, that's good. Woo! I mean, on point. Homemade lemonade, Trump. You the gift to keep giving. I mean, you breaking records, Trump. You done got impeached twice. And I gotta let the royal family know the latest. So my royal family, I got some videos to show. And I got something to read. But I'm going to leave the juiciest part of this for last. I'm going to milk it for all it's worth on the true royal family and True Royal. You know how I get down? Lean all up in it. So, let me just go ahead and just do my thug thizzle.
Representative Ayanna Presley, specifically her chief of staff, has raised some concerns about what they experienced as the riots were taking place in the Capitol. Sarah Grow, who is her chief of staff, says that every panic button in my office had been torn out, the whole unit. That is, incredibly suspicious. So the buttons had actually been there, and Ayanna Presley had not changed offices, so there's no other real explanation of what happened. She went on to say that the panic buttons were installed because Ms. Presley, a member of the progressive group of the House Democrats, dubbed the Squad, had been on the receiving end of racist attacks by Donald Trump and his supporters. Remember, there was a period of time where Trump was just laser focused on pointing out, members of the Squad and using the same type of rhetoric that we've seen in encouraging his supporters to go after them, attack them. 2 U.S. Capitol police officers, by the way, have since been suspended, and at least 10 more are under investigation for playing potential roles in the riot. And John, just before we went on air, you mentioned an update to those numbers, which is terrifying.
Yeah, so this is at least according to the appeal. The most recent number I've seen is 28 currently serving police from around the country have so far been identified. And remember, we're still in the initial days of this thing. People are combing through all the live streamed video, going through the Parler posts and things like that. But 28. But I don't know why, it's good that we have a number. I don't know, I hope nobody watching this is surprised, really, cops would do this? Yeah, I feel like if you were to rank by job, that would probably be one of the highest numbers that what I would have expected.
So there were other questionable things that were noticed by Democratic lawmakers. I want to now turn to Representative Cheryl, who just noticed that a day before the riots took place, there were certain tours happening in the Capitol building. Let's watch what she has to say.
We can't have a democracy if members of Congress are actively helping the president overturn the election results. And so not only do I intend to see that the president is removed and never runs for office again and doesn't have access to classified material, I also intend to see that those members of Congress who embedded him, those members of Congress who had groups coming through the Capitol that I saw on January 5th, a reconnaissance for the next day, those members of Congress that incited this violent crowd, those members of Congress that attempted to help our president undermine our democracy. I'm going to see that they're held accountable, and if necessary, ensure that they don't serve in Congress.
So, John, she mentions Republican lawmakers taking people on, reconnaissance tours of the Capitol building a day before, the riots happened, and she didn't provide any additional detail into that. But I wanted to get your thoughts, especially because you've seen a lot of like Alex Jones type people invited to the Capitol, to the White House by Republicans, by Donald Trump. And I've always wondered about whether that would serve as a security risk in the future.
Yeah. Well, I can say them being invited to the conventions didn't work out great. But anyway, back in 2016. Anyway, with the panic buttons and with the tours, I mean, hopefully we will see, like, there's a lot of little things like this, and I'm sure some of them will end up not being what it seems like. Sure. The fact that the panic buttons were torn out, and I would assume generally, I don't have a lot of experience with panic buttons, I would assume they're hidden, seems especially significant. The tours, they said that the tours hadn't been going on, because it's a pandemic, so that seems incredibly suspicious. I'm assuming investigations are ongoing. But I will just say that while we don't know for sure, we can't say for sure that a member was involved in either of this, or that Capitol Police were involved potentially, or maintenance was involved potentially in removing the panic buttons of what has to be one of the members at the top of whatever list these insane people would put together. If anyone who is sort of new to engaging day to day with what America is like these days thinks that someone being elected into office wouldn't do something like that, they need to look at the history of some of these individuals. Look at the things that Marjorie Taylor Greene has said and done. And they present themselves in a way we're used to people like Ted Cruz, who like tries to create the people seem like true believers to me. The idea that they wouldn't help from the inside, I don't think that we should jump to that conclusion.
Well, to that point, it's been reported in multiple outlets, including The Intercept and The Washington Post, that the lead organizer for the so-called Stop the Steal rally was working alongside Republican members of Congress. Again, this is something that we can't confirm. The investigation is ongoing, but here's what we know. Here's what the allegation is. Ali Alexander, who organized the Stop the Steal movement, said he hatched the plan coinciding with Congress's vote to certify the Electoral College votes, alongside 3 GOP lawmakers, Representatives Andy Biggs of Arizona, Mo Brooks of Alabama, and Paul Gosar of Arizona, all hardline Trump supporters. And his statement was, "We four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting," Alexander said in a since deleted tweet, or Periscope, I should say. And then he also said that the plan was to change the hearts and the minds of Republicans who were in that body, hearing our loud roar from outside. So that was his Periscope, which again has been deleted for obvious reasons. But look, I'm glad that there's an investigation taking place. If there is, first of all, anyone who enabled Donald Trump and his lies about widespread election fraud, gone. Anyone who decided to challenge the Electoral College votes for their own political careers, they should be gone. They should be removed from office. 14th Amendment. But there should be criminal charges for any member of Congress who has been proven to have engaged in organizing what happened in that insurrectionist riot, and Democrats can't back down from that.
Yeah, and look, one way that hypothetically we could come to this is they've begun to track down people. At some point, they're going to, track down people who were involved in the organization. Some of the people who are in the building, and they're going to try to get them to flip. I saw that one of the alt-right, like online people who was like live broadcasting from inside of it, that baked Alaska person, apparently right now isn't facing any charges, which could mean that our justice system is failing as always, or it could mean hypothetically that he's cooperating with law enforcement. And if the coordination did happen, and if it was electronic, there are going to be some people in there who in theory could provide that evidence to investigators. Who knows? We'll see. But it's possible. The fact that every file on Parler or whatever had been downloaded, that potentially is another way that some of this could be identified. It's going to be complicated. Right. There's a lot of people. It was organized over a good period of time. We don't know how long the investigation will take, but remember that the crazy people who've joined our Congress don't seem like the smartest individuals either. So I think it raises a greater chance that they could have slipped up and made some of this trackable.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. I really appreciate it.
All right, my royal family.
Let
me shut that down. Let me shut that down. So, this ain't looking too good at all, my royal family. Now, when I was watching the news about 3 days ago, sometimes what I'll do is I'll just cut the volume down and just look at people, just, how they move around. And then sometimes I won't look and cut the volume up and listen to the inflections in their voice. Anybody out there that's into music, and you don't have to be a player of or a singer of, but over time you can tell the inflections, you can hear fears, foolishness and fuckery and all of that. And I was saying to myself, I said, this shit about to get bad, real bad. Because, we are in the age of information technology, but this technology is antiquated. I have a reason for saying that. Nothing is new under the sun. Esau, we have technology far surpass your antiquated shit. Ooh, this is so juicy. Wait just a second. Y'all just don't know. So, I'm sitting there, people turning in stuff, and then people feel some kind of way and they fear, go to jail, and people snitching. It's a lot of moving parts. And then when I heard that, I was like, then took out the panic button. Oh, wow. Well, I had already knew something was funky when homeboy was up in Nancy Pelosi's office. They don't put the names of those peoples out. I knew that instantly without anybody telling me. That's just too much profile. You got people coming in and out. And so then the other night they was talking about, well, you know what? The last few weeks or the last few days, I did see, people coming to the state capitol looking kind of, like they come from the trailer park. I mean, yeah. I heard people say that. I'm going to make up shit as I go, my royal family. I'm running shit. I said, not a good look. Ooh, Trump, I can't wait till I get to the last part of this. I'm going to drag you. It's going to be real juicy like. So, as a result of, got this little snippet I want the royal family to listen to.
Breaking, the husband of Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Presley has tested positive for COVID-19 following last week's lockdown at the Capitol. NBC 10's John Maroney joins us now live with some new information we're learning tonight. John.
Shannon, a disturbing development for Ayanna Presley and her family, even as the House moved to impeach the president. The Congresswoman says that her husband, Conan Harris, has tested positive for COVID-19. He has shown mild symptoms and was with her in the Capitol during last week's attacks. Now, both of them, they were locked down for a number of hours in a secure room in close confinement with others. Presley has not tested positive, but she does remain in isolation. Here's part of a statement that she released this afternoon. As my colleagues and I sought shelter from the white supremacist mob that violently attacked our seat of government, we were greeted by a different threat, one posed by my callous Republican colleagues who, in this crowded and confined space, repeatedly refused to wear masks when offered. Earlier this week, we spoke with Presley about the experience and how it led to her push for impeachment.
Barricaded in my office, sitting or lying on the floor in the dark with a gas mask in my hand, alongside my chief of staff, my husband, another member, and their aide, that I co-led on articles of impeachment.
Now, the Congresswoman says that she and her husband will remain in isolation, but she will continue to do her job. Well, live in Boston, John Maroney.
Now think about this, my royal family. You up in the cut. Because I had to process it. You know, when the thugs came through and the supremacists came through, they was in there a good 2 hours. Some people was able to lock themselves and they hearing people banging. And can you imagine? You don't quite know what's going on. That 2 hours seemed like a lifetime. Literally a lifetime. So people have had an experience because homeboy is a loser. I was listening to 2 nights ago to Don Lemon, and he was interviewing, I can't remember the OG's name, but it was an old journalist, white guy. He said not only is Trump a loser, now he's a stone cold loser. Stone cold. And he's paying a price. You know, because Trump don't know how to win gracefully and he don't know how to lose gracefully. He don't know nothing about that. So all he do is bitch, whine, piss, and moan. So I want y'all to listen to this little snippet, and then I got some juiciness to read the royal family. Before I get into it, I got my shit. Ooh, loving it.
Senate won't reconvene until January 19th. That's one day before President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. The Senate trial won't start until after Biden takes office. U of L's Professor Sam Markison says some constitutional law experts believe someone can't be impeached after they've left office. Markison begs to differ.
It becomes almost certain that Donald Trump will challenge the authority of the Senate to try him.
Even though President Trump will be out of office by that time, there's still repercussions after being convicted by the Senate.
I think you can have the trial and even an impeachment for the very reason that the purpose can be to make sure that the person is no longer eligible to hold office again.
Not to mention, if Trump is convicted, he would lose his pension and other former presidential perks. Markison believes it's time to restore confidence in American government.
It seems to me that seeing this process be carried out and seeing the inauguration of President-elect Biden on the 20th are steps towards restoring confidence that the system does work.
There have only been 2 instances an official had been impeached after leaving office. The first was in the 18th century, the second, 1876. In Louisville, Jerica Valtierra.
All right. So, Trump stands to lose some things. I said, okay, I got to go find out. So lean up in it, my royal family, because I got some stuff to read. Now I'm going to just read the juicy parts. So there are some perks, some things I did know and some things I didn't. So, what could Trump lose by being impeached and removed? A lot, let alone twice. And he's considered a lame duck. What perks do ex-presidents receive? According to the National Taxpayers Union, the government spends about $4 million a year in various perks. for the 4 living ex-presidents. The perks include pension equal to annual pay of cabinet. So your what he could possibly receive is over 200,000. He won't get that at all. As we continue on. Starting 6 months after leaving office, a governmental allowance for a office, staffing, and equipment. Ain't getting it. Reimbursement expenses of up to $1 million annually for ex-president and up to 2 staffers. Spouses are allowed up to $500,000 for travel. That's some juiciness there. Ain't getting it. Lifetime security services provided by the Secret Service. He will get that. Okay. Health benefits through the government's Federal Employees Health Benefit Program, but only if they had 5 years of federal employment. Ain't getting that one way or the other. Funerals with full honors and the option of being buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Ain't getting it. Just throw your ass in a pit. So, would Trump lose these benefits if impeached and convicted? Yes. Definitely. Yes. Okay. So let me see. Okay, now this is really interesting. Would Trump lose benefits if he resigned before being removed? Probably not. But you know, Trump, he on that dumb shit. Congressional Research Service in 2016 reported, so Richard Nixon, the only president to resign from office following a 1974 precedent set by the Department of Justice concerning President Richard Nixon's resignation from office. However, a president who resigns before his official term of office expire would be entitled to the same lifetime pension and benefits that are authorized for a president who completes his term. Former President Nixon therefore did receive a pension and other benefits, the report said. Don't lose sight that Trump's wife was making an inquiry if she was going to receive something. She ain't receiving shit, and he ain't receiving shit. Have lawmakers looked at the changing post-presidential perks? Yes. The Presidential Allowance Modernization Act, sponsored by Georgia Republic, Jody Hice, and passed in the House in October 19, would limit the pension to $200,000 annually, with a cost of living allowance, and cut the allowance for the office space and the staff, phasing it out. Okay, so they're going to phase that out. So you ain't going to get no office space. You ain't going to get no damn staff out of it. And let me see. Those earnings went above $400,000 in the Congressional Budget Office. Okay. Expect most future former presidents will meet the threshold, such as legislation would save $2 million over 4 years, but the act would apply to future ex-presidents, thus does not affect Donald Trump. So they done made some changes there, so that ain't gonna even, whatever. Okay. Will Donald Trump get a library? They said maybe. Every president since Herbert Hoover has a presidential library intended to serve. You know what? A library for Trump. A library for Trump. You know, you're going to talk about his greatness, the achievements, and how progressive he was, and how he upheld the Constitution. So that's a maybe. I doubt he get it. You know, if they do it, his staunch supporters will raise the money they self with they broke asses and do it for him. So yeah, he'll get it on that end, but there's nothing honorable about you, Trump. I don't care if you got your eyes all beady and shit looking at me like that. I'll be done in just a bit, honey.
Just need to fight your card.
Okay, just give me just a minute. I'm almost done.
All right.
So, let me see. Is there anything else here? That's it, my royal family. So Trump, gonna lose his perks. You know, he opted not to take his check, but Lisa Cabrera been telling us for the longest the reason he did that because he don't want nobody looking into his taxes. You know, he played them twice. He played them twice on that. And it was something profound that Lisa said. She said, now look at how Yahweh is orchestrating everything. White supremacy reared its ugly head at the Capitol. Trump and his folks orchestrated that. It has affected people. And you got a whole bunch of hard-headed Republicans want to dig their heels in. You know, we're watching because I have said this long ago, my royal family. Everything that you will see will be in biblical proportions. All you got to do is stay obedient. Get your provisions. Take care of your immediate situation. Continue to get a house in order. Our Father said, vengeance is mine. You must continue to keep the faith. They're going into captivity. In Rona, you know, right now this been overshadowing Rona, but Rona in them streets. Because folks that was charging up in there, being led up in there, got Rona. And then folks that was just doing their job, upholding the Constitution and all of that, some of them, which I just showed a little piece of it, and got some Rona. Rona ain't to be played with. Rona ain't to be upstage. Do you fully understand what I'm saying, my royal family? This ain't nothing to play with. Oh, Trump, you making it real juicy. So I just said, you know what, I'm just going to combine everything in because it was just so juicy. It was just like juiciness, just all over me and stuff. I got this last little bit, my royal family. Just hold tight. You just don't know. So my royal family, what I need you to do is render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe.